What's up guys, welcome back. This is Anime Fiction. You'll be watching What If Naruto Was Reincarnated as Vegito Part 1. Now let's begin. Chapter 1. Naruto awoke and wondered where he was. He glances around, but all he sees is a tank filled with greenish liquid and a mask over his lips. After adjusting his eyes, he realizes he is in some kind of laboratory. He prayed he wasn't abducted. Naruto attempts to move about a little and manages to move something around his lower back while the rest of his body feels numb. He blinks a few times as he observes what is in front of him. Something brown, a tail. Naruto puzzled why he had a tail but couldn't move the rest of his body. He began to panic as he felt some of his body losing its numbness. He panicked and strength surged forth, and his head began to ache, as he saw some visions of people screaming and fighting, but they all passed too quickly for him to comprehend, as something from inside him surged up and broke the glass tank, and he fell to the ground naked, barely able to move. He must have been sedated, he croaked as he removed the respirator and attempted to move his body and take out the syringes from his arms. Naruto attempts to get up, but he falls on his hands and knees because his nose itches so much. He tried to sneeze but couldn't. He yelled in anguish as he fell on his side and gripped his head as additional pictures entered his mind. No, not pictures but memories. Naruto gasped as he saw the memories of the individuals he had seen. He envisions himself cuddling a newborn and naming him Gohan. In another, he sees himself pointing a finger at a planet from space while purple energy shoots from his finger and falls on the planet, killing it, while communicating with a bald-headed guy with a strange visage. He envisioned himself dashing about with a red bow staff that was swelling and shrinking as he fought armies with it. What was that? He notices the memories eventually settling down. Naruto stares at his arms since the numbness in his body has practically gone by now. Naruto's arms are fucking awesome, and he has abs, he said, staring down at his physique, which would make any bodybuilder envy. He peered between his legs and saw his tool. Nice, Naruto murmured to himself before shaking it off, gazing around, and replaying his new experiences in his thoughts. He now has memories of Goku and Vegeta. He observed that he is not green, thus he is genuinely a Saiyan, Naruto thought, still in a bit of shock, as he glanced around and discovered another tank with something inside. He squinted his eyes as he saw the potential monster within. Cell. Currently, he is still an embryo. He shook his head and breathed in and out, trying not to panic out over what was happening to him. Naruto sees a door and approaches it warily. He hesitates to enter it, but then rolls his eyes when he sees a restroom inside. He switches the switch, looks into the mirror, and gasps. Naruto moved closer, stunned by his new appearance. Naruto's hair is still damp, but he believes he resembles Vegito or Gogeta. Naruto had dark reddish-brown hair. He exhaled as he pushed his chi about his body, drying himself off. Naruto realized that he was Vegito, he said, staring in the mirror and smiling gently. But he chose to name himself Naruto, and he laughed briefly before turning around to see what he saw in the mirror. Naruto spotted Gero's computer. He tightened up and was ready to battle, but he paused since he didn't hear anything or anybody but himself. This was strange for him, he said as he glanced around, expecting some androids to attack him or something, and realized he had adopted a fighting posture. He was surprised before focusing on maintaining his power as low as possible. Naruto stepped closer to Gero's computer and could see the screen. Dr. Gero left it open, and he proceeded to look around on his computer. Vegeta's recollections of flying to space required him to evaluate how sophisticated a society is, and when he made his report, he would be either commanded to kill the planet or the population and acquire their technology for himself. Naruto frowns as he scans Vegeta's memories. It was never revealed how the Frieza Force conducted things. They were only seen murdering and taking over worlds. They did not destroy planets randomly. Instead, they classified them, searched for minerals, and drained a planet of as much resources as possible, forcing the residents of such worlds to mine their planet for them. Good riddance, he thought, filled with righteous rage at their actions and pleasure that he was the one who vanquished Frieza. Naruto recognized what he had said and swiftly rectified himself, understanding that he had not killed him, but someone else. Naruto sighed at that. He shakes his head again while looking at Gero's PC. He was once again astounded by the massive computer in front of him. Naruto praised the dumb old guy, calling Gero an outstanding genius. A genius who enjoys simplicity, it seems. All of his files are carefully arranged. Naruto then looked into Android 20 aka Dr. Gero. He grimaces as he sees via a webcam while he goes through the process of transforming himself into an android. Naruto was quite interested in reading the notes that he so sweetly written for him. Naruto, so he was going to be as powerful as Android 16. He then glanced over some of his video recordings. Naruto found it really intriguing. He planned to become a bio-android, similar to Cell. Androids 13, 14, and 15 were prototypes used to test the key generators he created. 16 was the completed outcome. However, Gero utilized his kid's picture and opted not to use him since his son never intended to hurt anybody. Naruto then examined Android 17 and 18 files. Lapis and Lazuli. They were a trial run for Dr. Gero to observe the cybernetic augmentation process. Naruto realized two things. He recognized that they were successful at 17 and 18 since the other subjects were dead. Naruto frowns when he realizes how many people he has go through to reach 17 and 18. Android 19 was a prototype of the energy absorption that he developed, which is why it is so tough. Gero was going to become a powerhouse. Naruto scowled as he viewed more video records of him outlining what he intended to do with Cell. He gasped like in one video. He took out a little vial holding what seemed to be a bit of pink bubblegum floating in a glass container. This will increase his strength to the point where he can kill Son Goku. After his perfect creation absorbs androids 17 and 18, he will use this to merge with it and become the ultimate being. He continues, absolutely insane, but Naruto closes the video and examines the Android 21 file. Naruto frowns while reading through it. Android 21 was known as Vomi, his ex-wife, whom he still loved after she divorced him for joining the Red Ribbon Army. She was at the global martial arts competition where Goku faced Piccolo Jr., and during the fight, she got buried under some rubble. Gero discovered her broken corpse and completed the same treatment with her that he did with 17 and 18. He injected her with a combination of what he knew was a bit of Majin Buu's corpse and some DNA from the Z fighters. He glances up and finds her position easily. She is in an undersea laboratory. Naruto thought cynically. Naruto examined some of the other files and luckily discovered his own, but now he wishes he hadn't. He was meant to be a thoughtless body that Gero could consume. He would have been absorbed after reaching his final condition and conducting tests. He didn't know about the Super Saiyan transformation, but he does know about the Zenkai in Great Ape form, which is what he desired. Naruto sighed at the impending monster. Dr. Gero combined Perfect Cell, the ability to absorb energy assaults, 2 key generators, a far greater Zenkai, and a Great Ape form, all while retaining a chunk of Majin Buu's body. Naruto was astonished by what he had just discovered. He checks up his studies on the Uzaru form and is fascinated by it. Naruto studied more about his research and discovered his way to avoid the necessity for the moon. He gasped out at what he had done. Blutz wave radiation has been synthesized. He read more about it and saw his notes as he took out part of his justification for him, which startled and angered Naruto. He was furious that he had tested it by chopping him up to have a ready-made Saiyan test subject. Another reason why he made him. Once in a while, he would inject some of it, which would help him recuperate. Naruto glanced about, still in his nude state, and saw no scars or anything to suggest such an event. He realized that bastard had not recorded it. A tiny amount of the synthesized Blutz waves is sufficient to assist Saiyans in healing. A somewhat greater dosage is sufficient to make Saiyans high. Naruto reread the hat portion and got over it. Similar effects to a human will give them cocaine. Naruto was surprised one more. A greater dosage is sufficient to cause the Uzaru transition to last almost a week in the absence of natural moonlight. Naruto considered Dr. Gero to be a total maniac. Naruto read about how it is manufactured. Synthesis is both complicated and time-consuming. Naruto takes note of it and investigates more, eventually discovering surveillance video of what happened to Gero. Lapis and Lazuli assaulted Gero, but he managed to turn them off and instruct 13 and 14 to put them in their pods, while 15 transformed him into an android to save his life. There are still 5 weeks until the procedure is completed. Something he intends to take advantage of as plans develop in his thoughts. Naruto secretly thanked Dr. Gero, smiling wickedly, and quickly gained access to 13, 14, and 15 programs. Time jump 3 days later. Naruto was astounded by how stupid Dr. Gero was. He glanced at the directions and grinned as he wrote as if he were doing a Google search while easily reprogramming some of the androids. Naruto said, "He made it so simple. Naruto reached Android 16, and his grin darkened. Naruto reprograms Android 16 to execute his every instruction and ignores the order to murder Son Goku. He does not feel horrible about doing this. 16 is an actual robot that, although capable of becoming sentient, Naruto would not allow sentient robots to walk about with the potential to murder him. He reached 17 and 18, then frowned. Gero managed to put in the chips to control them with his thoughts once he turned into an android, but he didn't have the opportunity to do so since he had to be transformed into an android soon after he managed to shut them down and was seriously hurt. It was a really hasty procedure. Naruto thought about it more. 13, 14, 15, and 16 are pure machines, while 17 and 18 are real individuals. Naruto decides to disregard them for the time being and go on to Cell, erasing the program of wanting to be flawless as well as his instructions to kill Goku, stating that he would train to grow stronger, follow him at all times, and become his personal scientist. Naruto examined the controls of the machinery presently transforming Gero into an android. He has no ideas other than that he should die. There are no other ways around it. He is much too dangerous to be kept alive. He managed to develop robots that are at least capable of battling, if not outright killing, Super Saiyans. That's not to mention how many other projects the guy has. Of course, the most of it is about murdering Goku. Naruto stares at Gero, who is experiencing the procedure, and shuts his eyes slightly. Naruto now understands he is Vegito or something similar, but to make it simpler for him, he will just call himself Naruto at this point. He looked at the panels that displayed a live feed of some of the Z fighters. Goku is now hanging out with Gohan, Krillin, and Oolong beside a lake. Tien is training with Chaozu. Naruto sighs as he looks at them. It's obviously Vegito, okay. In comparison to Goku, I am now at least 30 times stronger than him. He is also certain that he can transform into a Super Saiyan, but has yet to do it since he does not want to bring attention to himself. Heck, he is certain he will be able to kill Cell the instant he arrives. Still, Naruto pondered what he should do. He isn't even sure whether they'll really need him at this point. He is certain that with little training, he would be strong enough to face Super Buu in Super Saiyan 2. Oh, who's he kidding? By the time Buu appears, he is certain that he will have attained Super Saiyan 4. The issue is, what should he do? Naruto pondered whether he should go on and desire for immortality or find an alternative. It will be simple for him to desire for immortality. He can utilize the instant transmission to approach near to Bulma when she is asleep, read her thoughts, steal the dragon radar, obtain them, and then use the dragon balls to achieve immortality. Naruto did, however, try a little exercise here and there. He can utilize ki telekinesis, which has been fantastic, and he also has a limited kind of telepathy, which he used to interact with people the one time he left this bunker, but it doesn't extend to being able to change their memories, although, he didn't try very hard. When his wonderful time enjoying everything was ended, he realized he was basically stranded here. Away from his world. However, he didn't have many significant bonds to anybody. His parents died on the day he was born, and everyone in the hamlet despised him because they believed he was the Nine Tails. Because of this, he had no attachments, so Naruto does not care about them. Naruto shook his head, forcing himself to stop thinking about the filthy individuals. He sat down in a chair and began thinking about what to do. He may attempt to present himself as a Saiyan who, like Goku, survived the devastation of planet Vegeta. Naruto stopped guessing and wondered whether he was overthinking it. He will simply state that he is a clone produced by Gero as a result of Trunks' time travel, and that he achieved consciousness and murdered Gero when he awoke. He sighed as he thought about it some more. And he chose to present himself in this manner, although he is unsure if anybody would object. Naruto instantly thought of Vegeta. He can image his response, calling him a phony Saiyan or whatever, but he may be able to deal with it. He possesses Goku and Vegeta's memories up to a certain degree. A figurative lighting goes out in his head as a near-perfect idea enters his mind. Piranga. He was able to calm Kibito and Shin. He decided to simply fake his way through, stating that Goku and Vegeta were separated from him when leaving Vegito, and he became alive so that they might have one more warrior on their side, and that, although he lost a significant amount of strength, he eventually became his own person. They would eventually come across various opponents to fight against. Like the Shadow Dragons, after around 2 years after Majin Buu was destroyed, the Dragon Balls broke and were unleashed. The Shadow Dragons considerably surpassed their might, forcing them to withdraw into the watchtower, where they entered the hyperbolic time chamber. Naruto may blame Bulma for yearning to be 5 years younger, which caused them to break and unleash the shadow dragons. Then he may speak about the Super Saiyan God. Naruto blinked at that. Goku, Vegeta, Trunks and Gohan. He is the top 1 Saiyan, capable of performing the Super Saiyan God ritual. Naruto reasoned that maybe he could locate Tarbell. Naruto decided against it, as he aimed to become Super Saiyan 4. If Goten is born at that time, he will wait until both he and Kid Trunks become Super Saiyans. That seems like a decent strategy, Naruto considered. But he has to be cautious. His tale has a lot of flaws, but it could just work. He may state that he had a confrontation with someone named Fu, and he transported his mind back in time and into this body, which was constructed by Dr. Gero as a result of Fu's manipulation. Naruto's POV time jumped 3 days later. Thank you, Gero, I say, touching a few buttons to halt the operation, transforming him into an android, and watching him slowly die. I don't feel horrible about his death since Vegeta's memories have rendered me numb to murdering over the last several days. To be honest, I vomited up after going through several more of them. Vegeta was just wicked. There is no question about that. He would butcher whole universes with only his hands, grinning the whole while. I understand that he will change in the future, but that will take a long time. I groan and massage my chin a little. There are 2 time machines. Trunks has his own and the one where Cell arrived. If I manage to get my hands on Cell's time machine, I could perhaps get Bulma to repair it for me. Then, after I become Super Saiyan 4, and Trunks from my timeline become Super Saiyans, as well as Goten, I may travel into the future timeline and have Trunks conduct the ceremony instead of Vegeta. While it may take a while, I want Super Saiyan 4. I will also ensure that Goku, Gohan, and maybe Goten have tails and can transform into Super Saiyan 4. I'm way too interested about what would happen if someone gained God Ki while playing Super Saiyan 4. I shake my head at my power fantasy as I grab some belongings before heading out to meet the Z fighters while attempting to suppress my enthusiasm. I grin as I think about my strategy to aid future Trunks and get him on my side. I may volunteer to go back in time and destroy the androids for him. Also, I could ask King Kai for the coordinates of New Namek and deliver them to Trunks. I grimace at it. Space moves, it may be more difficult than I think it will be. I leave my base and soar briefly into the sky before flying across to a desert. When I arrive, I stop concealing my power level and strive to get their attention. I immediately felt several power levels flowing across to me. I sigh as I consider what I am going to say. I suppress the impulse to grin when I sense someone behind me. I move my head to the side, looking at Goku for the first time in person. My perspective may be little biased, but I am nonetheless thrilled to meet him. I fake a grin that threatens to tear my face down when I see Goku's solemn countenance. Wait until everyone else is here, I tell him, before looking up and seeing Piccolo flying down. It just took a few seconds to reach me, incredible. I can see they took their time to get here, except for Goku, who quickly used instant transmission to get to me. I wait until everyone comes. Who are you? Asks Goku, as Vegeta remains silent. I sigh before unwrapping my tail. Who are you? Demands Vegeta come up to me, but I merely sidestep him. If you will let me explain, I begin to say before sitting. Trust me, we are going to be here a while. Now, as you can see, I have Goku and Vegeta's energy in me. That's because I'm from the future, I explain, getting them all excited. Not like Trunks at all, I remark, moving my hand to stop them. Trunks like my son, yes, I tell Vegeta. In the future, there will be a large number of foes. One of them compelled Goku and Vegeta to combine into a single creature. They both became me, thanks to the Namekian Dragon Balls and my ambition to be my own person. I desired Goku and Vegeta to be separated from me while leaving myself alive. I give them the essence of it before I proceed to explain a little more about the future. I will provide further information about Majin Buu, and it is evident that Vegeta remains skeptical of my words. Do you expect us to believe that nonsense? He inquires, and I can sense his readiness to engage in a confrontation. Go ahead, ask me, I say confidently, maintaining eye contact. Which planet experienced a remarkable repopulation? He inquires of me. Frieza Planet 419, I respond as he blinks. Can you please provide me with the names of the Saiyans who were present during the destruction of planet Vegeta? He inquires of me, which catches me off guard a little. Raditz, Nappa, Callio, and Taro, I inform him. He gazes at me, taken aback by my response. Now, if I may proceed, after triumphing over Boo and encountering other individuals who greatly contributed to our collective growth, an even graver predicament unfolded, I stated. The Dragon Balls cracked, I inform them, and their expressions shift to a mix of surprise and caution, as they remain skeptical of my words. Yes, I am aware. When they broke, they unleashed what we referred to as the Shadow Dragons. Experts in their field, they were created as a result of the Dragon Ball's defense mechanism, I continued. Defense mechanism, stated Piccolo, gazing in my direction. Indeed, when an individual desires something selfless, the Dragon Balls start to accumulate negative energy. When individuals express self-centered desires, they often experience a surge of positive energy. When the Dragon Balls become overwhelmed with positive energy and shatter as a result, they unleash the Light Dragons. Regrettably, we are left to contend with the Shadow Dragons. We are seeking the return of individuals who have unfortunately lost their lives due to our adversaries. We utilize the wishes to revive them, disrupting the delicate equilibrium between life and death. The requirements for the Shadow Dragons to manifest were met, given our ability to resurrect individuals, particularly the significant number of people we managed to bring back. They posed a significant threat to us. They seemed to have an extensive knowledge of our situation. Is everything included? Goku finally spoke up, breaking his silence. Certainly, everything. The Shadow Dragons possess extensive knowledge, mirroring that of Shenron. Given that everyone here was essentially revived, they were well aware of our fighting styles, skills, and transformations. I continued to provide a thorough explanation, ensuring that I focused on relevant information and omitted details such as Super Saiyan 4 and God. At last, someone inquires about my well-being during this particular era. I attribute my current circumstances to Fu, who, through some means, transported my consciousness back in time. Additionally, Gero utilized the DNA of Goku and Vegeta to fashion a body, resulting in my creation. So, are you referring to us? Goku asks, pointing to himself and Vegeta. Yes, in simple terms, but now I am my own person, I inform him. Who is this person named Fu? Piccolo asks, making me sigh in exasperation. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. It seemed like a combination of many different things, I explained to him. However, his strength is remarkable, truly impressive, and his expertise extends to all of us. Furthermore, he had the capability to temporarily suppress our power, which posed a significant challenge. Adding to the difficulty was his ability to conjure formidable apparitions of our previous adversaries, surpassing their original strength and overwhelming us in the process. Gradually, we started succumbing to their power. Until only Gohan and I were left, but Gohan fell a little before I did. I recount the story to them. Then I ended up in Gero's lab, and that's where I am now. Naruto's point of view. This is impressive, I think to myself as I soar across the globe without a specific destination in mind. I shut my eyes momentarily to savor the sensation of the wind brushing against my face. I am not moving at a slow pace, I am likely soaring at the velocity of a fighter jet. I don't really mind how fast I am going. Soaring through the skies with a sense of tranquility is truly rejuvenating. I grin with delight as I savor the sensation. I want to express my amusement and exhilaration as I soar through the air. Transitioning from the stresses of school to achieving a highly coveted aspiration. I will savor every moment of it, of course. He will have to say goodbye to his few friends, but he must continue moving forward with his own life. He understands that they would be pleased with his current circumstances. Either that or deeply concerned about the prospect of battling threats that could potentially end the universe. At that stage, Naruto will have surpassed them in power to such an extent that they will find it overwhelmingly unfair and be reduced to tears. I am already an expert in my field, and I possess exceptional abilities. I will achieve the Super Saiyan 4 transformation within the next 5 years. That is my current objective. However, I am familiar with how some of this stuff works. I plan to seek assistance from either Shenron or Porunga to address any potential challenges that may arise as a result of my clone status. If there are no options available, I will desire self-improving immortality. I appreciate that immortality is quite a peculiar concept to comprehend. I am determined to achieve eternal life, transitioning from a state of being trapped in the monotony of everyday life to a world full of endless possibilities. Once I reach Super Saiyan 4, I plan to embark on a journey to explore the vastness of the universe. There is a vast array of sights to behold and countless experiences to be had, all within the vast expanse of 12 interconnected universes. Explore 12 unique universes. There is a plethora of sights to behold. I contemplate the matter further, my expression turning serious. I will be by myself for an extended period. I descend gracefully to the ground, savoring each moment as I carefully settle myself. With a serene demeanor, I position myself to admire the breathtaking sunset from the grandeur of a towering cliff. Wow, I exclaim, captivated by the breathtaking scene before me, a sight that I never could have imagined witnessing. I gaze up at the stars that adorn the night sky, the Milky Way. I softly utter as I gaze upon the unobstructed brilliance of the galaxy, free from any trace of light pollution, or so I believe. I begin to contemplate my future with greater consideration. When I first arrived, I wasn't in the best mental state as I had ambitious plans regarding Android 18, but that was the Vegeta in me talking. Many aspects of Vegeta's past in the manga and anime were not thoroughly explored. First and foremost, he is the eldest child of King Vegeta, who had multiple partners and companions. Actually, there was never a queen of planet Vegeta, only a king. Vegeta and Tarbell share a familial bond as half-brothers. Prior to the destruction of planet Vegeta, King Vegeta accompanied the prince on a tour of the planet in search of potential female Saiyans who could serve as companions or partners for Prince Vegeta in the future. King Vegeta is highly regarded as a remarkable leader among the Saiyans, having played a pivotal role in the prosperity of planet Vegeta. Indeed, the Broly movie depicted a group of Saiyans residing in caves and engaging in various occupations such as farming, hunting, and those who had reached old age or retired. These Saiyans were characterized by their relatively peaceful lifestyle. They made the decision to live in that manner. I express a slight disapproval at that. Planet Vegeta boasted numerous advantages over Earth, with its hidden treasures lying beneath its seemingly desolate exterior. Beneath the surface, one could find enchanting underground springs and lush forests, serving as the primary source of the planet's exquisite plant-based cuisine. Vegeta's ancestors made significant sacrifices for their people. They were highly skilled warriors, revered as heroes by their people. Vegeta's father single-handedly transformed a significant portion of the planet. Planet Vegeta transitioned to using galactic credits as their universal currency. Additionally, the inhabitants were provided with free healthcare for diseases and viruses, as well as access to basic food provisions, although the taste may not have been exceptional. Numerous other benefits were also granted to the population. I let out a sigh as I start to compare the planets that I have seen through Vegeta's memories and how superior they are in comparison to Earth's. I must admit, I feel a sense of embarrassment when considering how the Earth might be perceived by beings from another race. Backwater Planet is truly exceptional when compared to others. Many planets under the Frieza Force do not adhere to an 8-hour workday. In fact, while there are approximately 100 humanoid-type species in this universe, there are thousands more that do not possess humanoid characteristics. Many species have a limited awake time of 9 hours, followed by a lengthy 15-hour sleep period. The enslaved races were allotted a 4-hour workday, along with a 1-hour lunch break, for 4 days a week. They were provided with complimentary healthcare, housing in the form of small apartment complexes, and access to food and entertainment, all in exchange for their loyalty and subservience to Frieza and his family. They are highly questionable individuals, but it is worth noting that Frieza and his family seldom engaged in the destruction of planets. Considering Beerus's knowledge about Beerus and his extensive sleeping habits, it wouldn't be far-fetched to speculate that Beerus may have created the entire group with the purpose of managing and elevating the mortal level, ultimately allowing him to indulge in his slumber. I shake my head in disappointment. I am excited to embark on a journey to explore the 12 universes. In order to accomplish that, I will need to possess a significant amount of power. I have full faith in my ability to match Jiren's power level before the Tournament of Power, through sheer determination and hard work. But, forget about that. I will achieve the Super Saiyan 4 transformation before anyone else. Once I have fully mastered it, I will ensure that the Saiyans regain their tails and make a wish for them to always be an integral part of our biology, with the ability to regrow them permanently activated. Next, I will instruct them in the ways of Super Saiyan 4 and perform the Super Saiyan God ritual on myself. I have been pondering this question for quite some time. Imagine if the Super Saiyan God ritual was performed while in the powerful Super Saiyan 4 form. I am filled with joy as I witness a shooting star gracefully glide through the night sky. I will take some time to relax and have fun. Naruto's perspective. I let out a determined growl as I tap into my immense power, transforming into Super Saiyan once again since my arrival. I chuckle as I observe myself. I never understood why Vegeta was so confident when he first transformed into a Super Saiyan, but now I understand the reason behind it. It feels great. I am highly skilled and capable in various areas. However, I quickly notice what is amiss as the initial excitement of transforming starts to fade, replaced by a tinge of frustration that I try to suppress with the help of Goku's recollections of his own experiences as a Super Saiyan. Despite inheriting Goku's genetic makeup, my body is still adjusting to this newfound power. I take a moment to unwind and find my center as I focus on creating a ki ball. I concentrate on the ki ball and attempt to manipulate its shape while maintaining my transformed state. I engage in this activity for a few minutes before gracefully lifting myself off the ground and commencing my practice in midair. This is a highly advanced technique that Goku mastered to enhance his spirit control during his training on Yardrat. I have been honing my skills in spirit control for the past few days, but now I am experimenting with it in Super Saiyan form. After practicing for about an hour, I let out a sigh. However, I'm feeling quite tired at the moment. I finish my transformation feeling a bit worn out at this stage. Not only in terms of physical well-being, but also in terms of mental health. The Super Saiyan transformation can be physically demanding to master, but the real challenge lies in the mental aspect. Maintaining focus becomes incredibly difficult due to the overwhelming anger that accompanies the transformation. However, I am confident that with practice, I will be able to gain control over it. I turn my attention to a bag on the ground and give it my full focus. I carefully open the bag and remove its contents. Compact containers containing multiple HOI poi capsules, each filled with furniture, provisions, and other essential supplies. I have developed a fondness for indulgence, which I don't particularly mind. I have discovered several reasons why Saiyans have a strong affinity for Earth cuisine. Firstly, the cuisine of planet Vegeta boasted a higher density and was more compatible with the Saiyan metabolism. Additionally, the flavor surpasses that of the cuisine found on planet Vegeta. I take a food capsule and toss it to the ground. An elegant spread of delectable dishes is presented on a grand table. I utilize ki telekinesis to effortlessly manipulate the cutlery, gracefully guiding each bite of food to my mouth. I let out a sigh as I finished my meal. I gaze up at the sky, contemplating what lies ahead once more. I have given considerable thought to something, or rather, someone. Future Trunks. He comes from a future that is severely troubled in numerous ways. I present a unique capsule containing multiple crates filled with the Blutz wave pills. I spent some time creating all of them, but they were necessary. I let out a deep breath as I once again transform into Super Saiyan. I have approximately 3 months remaining until Future Trunks returns, so I can fully master the Super Saiyan transformation. Decent. Once I've perfected my skills, I'll be ready to achieve Super Saiyan 2. I express disapproval. Super Saiyan 3. It is a complete disaster. I am seriously contemplating bypassing it and directly achieving Super Saiyan 4. Indeed, it may offer certain benefits and potentially streamline the process of achieving Super Saiyan 4, but acquiring it is not essential. Alright, I can accommodate your schedule. I am interrupted by an alarm, prompting me to retrieve a compact device that my computer had custom made for me. I feel a sense of satisfaction as I review the list of projects that have been successfully accomplished. Apparel suitable for accommodating my transformation into a great ape. The updates to Android 13, 14, and 15. I provided them with an infinite key generator using my expertise. During the Tournament of Power, it became evident that machines, or at least semi-sentient beings, were included in the universal power level ranking system. I had a computer remove the bomb from Android 16. As a professional, I successfully reversed the Android process for 17 and 18 using the computer. It's impressive how 17 managed to match the power of Super Saiyan Blue Goku effortlessly, so it's reasonable to assume that 18 would have a similar outcome. I scroll the screen up, taking note of the remaining projects that need to be completed. I examine the models of another 17 and 18. Every cell has matured and undergone modifications beyond their original state, each serving a specific purpose for the androids in Future Trunks timeline. I decided not to take any action regarding their revisions and instead chose to remove their improvements, as they have not committed any wrongdoing. However, their future selves are open to discussion. These models draw inspiration from Super Android 17. I will transform them into something similar and they will exhibit unwavering loyalty, faithfully carrying out all of my instructions without hesitation. I will ensure that they are held accountable for their actions, as they are far from innocent. Super Android 17 proved to be a formidable opponent for Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Both Super 17 and Super 18 will be under my command. When they merge with their alternate versions, the memories of future 17 and 18 will be wiped clean and replaced with the ones I desire. Their new versions have the capability to absorb energy, enhancing their strength, and even transfer it to others. Despite having access to numerous ki generators, they were unable to distribute ki to their teammates during the Tournament of Power. I shake my head and observe the progress, 46%. Alright, I remark as I scroll down once more, observing the progress of my newly commissioned vessel. Goku departed from the spaceship upon his arrival back on Earth after his visit to Yardrat. It has been there for quite some time now. After obtaining it, I initiated the computer's analysis and had it create a new one for me. Something similar to the one Goku used to travel to Namek with. I appreciate Goku's decision to leave it there, as my computer contains maps or star charts that I can utilize in the future to explore other planets and gather information about them as well. There are fascinating worlds out there that specialize in trading, which genuinely excites me to explore and discover new things. I will ensure that Mirai Trunks receives proper training. He has experienced numerous instances of being taken advantage of. Firstly, he was trained by Gohan, who had not fully completed his training. I am confident that had Piccolo survived and imparted his knowledge to Gohan, he would have been able to defeat the androids within a year. Gohan displayed exceptional resilience and resourcefulness, enduring countless battles with unwavering determination. Through his strategic approach and unwavering spirit, he achieved the remarkable feat of attaining Super Saiyan status without external assistance. Despite his efforts to train Trunks, his efforts fell short. That's why I will personally be training him. Trunks has an impressive track record when it comes to handling his enemies, which is quite unfortunate given the circumstances. Nevertheless, his untapped potential is on par with, if not greater than, that of Gohan. I shake my head once more as I tidy up and make my way to Kame House, eager to learn a few things from Roshi. Regarding Pump Up, the form he utilizes to enhance his physical power and ki attacks, it provides approximately a 50% increase in strength while having minimal impact on speed. However, speed is not my primary concern. I need it for a different purpose, specifically for a single, decisive attack. Roshi demonstrated exceptional mastery by unleashing the full potential of his Kamehameha in that form. I witnessed Goku in Super Saiyan 4 unleashing the Dragon Fist with an intense surge of power, directed at Omega Shenron. The Dragon Fist would have been significantly more powerful, resulting in the defeat of Omega Shenron. I require a solution that can serve as a final option. Whenever I encounter Cell or any form of Buu charging towards me, I immediately unleash a powerful blast, using every ounce of strength in my body. I refuse to engage in a prolonged battle with such highly dangerous beings. Cell acquired the ability to perform instant transmission after Goku demonstrated it, suggesting that he may possess some knowledge of spirit control. Majin Buu possesses the remarkable ability to effortlessly replicate techniques simply by observing them. I also need to master the Mafuba technique because I have to be cautious of an individual named Moro. He is someone who is well informed about the existence of the empire that Yako serves and Moro as well, based on Vegeta's memories. He has earned the reputation of being the Planet Eater for a reason, showcasing his exceptional mastery of both ki and magic. I am not pleased with that the magic in Dragon Ball is distinct from ki. Indeed, Goku's personal recollections of encountering individuals with magical abilities are quite distinct. The significance of magic in Dragon Ball is often underestimated. Just take a moment to consider the possibilities it offers. It is possible for someone to create wishing orbs that have the power to bring someone back from the dead, bestow immortality, and fulfill various desires. I am truly impressed by their remarkable potential. I already have a list of desires that I would like to see fulfilled. Self-evolving immortality, the capability to revive others, including myself, in the event of unexpected circumstances where someone manages to eliminate me. I possess an innate and exceptional mastery of magic, bestowed upon me by the dragon's highest aptitude. Maximize my potential to the fullest extent and gradually unlock any remaining untapped potential over time. Frankly, those are quite a few wishes. I am considering requesting self-evolving immortality from Shenron, along with the innate ability to use magic and the utmost proficiency in it that he can bestow upon me. I will obtain the rest from Purunga. I pause to consider whether the dark energy from the Dragon Balls would dissipate more quickly if I were to place them in the hyperbolic time chamber. I shake my head upon arriving at Kame House. Fast forward to one day before Trunks' arrival.
Thank you for everything. I express my gratitude to Master Roshi. Please wait here for a moment, he says, while walking over to a drawer, opening it, and retrieving a box.
I presented one to Goku, Krillin, and Yamcha after completing their training. However, since you possess Goku's qualities, you would have likely donned it already. Nevertheless, you have proven yourself to be an individual, he remarks, approaching me and handing over the box.
I greet with a warm smile upon spotting a familiar orange and blue GI.
I glance over at Roshi. Thank you, I express once more, with heightened gratitude in my tone.
During the past few months, I have been balancing my time between training with Master Roshi and attending to matters in my lab.
I currently have multiple projects in progress, ensuring that the cell of this timeline has ample backup androids to sustain himself. I created another set with further enhancements, tweaking Cell to incorporate a stronger infusion of Saiyan DNA and a touch more of Frieza's genetic material.
I also initiated the process of creating a clone of Frieza, which I am currently cultivating with the intention of consuming his tail. I am seeking the enhanced capabilities it provides. I bid farewell to Master Roshi and make my way back to my laboratory. I catch a glimpse of my hair and can't help but smile.
I am currently in a highly skilled state that I achieved recently, and I am striving to maintain it for an extended duration. I head over to my lab to gather a few items, including the Dragon Balls. Requesting the Dragon Radar was quite straightforward. Meeting Bulma for the first time was quite intriguing. #FLASHBACK start hash. Thank you, I say to Bulma with a smile.
Wow, she exclaims. What? I inquire. Nothing. It's just that when you mentioned your unique background as a fusion of Goku and Vegeta with a mind sent back in time into a clone, it truly caught my attention. She approached me with a smile, letting out a small chuckle. She is dressed in a black tube top paired with a short skirt, and I notice the presence of dark circles under her eyes. I am in the middle of expressing my thoughts when I am suddenly interrupted by the sound of a baby's cry. My hormones are becoming intense as I observe her breasts and the movement they create. Despite being in close proximity, I can also notice her appealing posterior, which seems quite enticing. Bulma had a wonderful experience during her pregnancy. Excuse me for a moment, she says as she attends to baby Trunks in another room. She sniffs, checking if Trunks has soiled his diapers, but it turns out to be something else. I politely avert my gaze as she adjusts her clothing and attempts to breastfeed him, but he refuses. She starts to gently sway him back and forth, and I can't help but smile at the tender moment. Would you like assistance? I inquire before my mind catches up to my speech. Oh, yes please, she says as I approach, handing him over to me. He starts to calm down and I glance at Bulma as she takes a seat on a chair. Trunks finally stops sobbing as I gently rock back and forth, similar to what Bulma was doing. He glances at me with curiosity before going for my face. I grin as he touches my face and starts smiling at me. He gurgles joyfully at me, and I begin to make crazy faces at him, and he laughs. As he finishes laughing, he begins to yawn, and I place him in his crib. I grin at him as he dozes asleep immediately. Hey, Bulma, he is. I begin as I turn to her and see that she fell asleep on a little bed on the opposite side of the room. I walk over and place a blanket over her. I turn and glance at Trunks for a moment before leaving. I look at Bulma again before shaking my head. From what I've heard, when Vegeta discovered that I had killed the androids, he pretty much fucked off from Earth. Honestly, it irritated me up when I heard that, but I realized that Bulma is wealthy, so I calmed down thereafter. A part of me is beginning to resent Vegeta for this, but I understand why he went. In his perspective, there is nothing for him on Earth, and when he was sent back and realized precisely how hell was, he stopped worrying about becoming eternal given that he helped beat Frieza. Even if it was selfish, he was permitted to explore hell, with his body. I know he didn't leave the Earth for nothing, even though he had a child. He left them because he cares for Trunks, despite though he has no knowledge how to care for someone, particularly his kid. Trunks is one of the reasons he remained on Earth. Another was battling Goku and the others, to destroy the androids who allegedly murdered him, so he prepared to defend his kid. Now, He presumably believes Trunks will be better off if he isn't around. I sighed at that. I am certain that it is my hormones speaking, but, to be honest, Bulma does in fact check all of my boxes plus a few more, including the boxes of my Saiyan mind.
She is strong-willed, intelligent, humorous, sarcastic, and affectionate. On the plus side, she is not only a very attractive MILF, but also a terrific mother, and I tend to have a soft place for moms.
Especially those who would offer everything to defend their children.
I frowned somewhat more before shaking my head and leaving. Being a teenager converted into an adult is quite challenging. Maybe if Bulma was willing to become eternal like me, I would sincerely seek her. I gaze back at Capsule Corp as I walk out to fetch the Dragon Balls. #flashback end #. I shake my head. I swiftly reached my lab.
It's time I become immortal. Naruto Pav. It has been granted farewell, Shenron exclaims as he glows and departs after fulfilling my request for self-evolving immortality.
I'm happy. I am much too joyful right now, particularly considering I am ageless.
However, in only 30 years, I shall achieve the degree of immortality offered by the Super Dragon Balls that were gifted to Zamasu.
I'm at the lowest level. However, because of the way I phrased my wish, I know all that my body is now going through. My request was fairly difficult since I wanted to be done. I hope for self-evolving immortality that improves as I live, and that I am aware of what it is doing to my body and what it is improving at any given moment. That was my desire. Right now, I know my body is improving at an incredible pace. Zamasu's immortality was overpowering, and now that I completely realize what it accomplished for him. It not only offered him an everlasting body, but it also made it such that he never felt weary. His energy reserves virtually filled back up as soon as he utilized them.
My body will ultimately reach the point where I won't need to eat, drink, sleep, or breathe to maintain all of my essential and non-vital functions, tremendous regeneration, and something that I didn't consider that has now been taken care of.
My brain. My new immortality will allow me to remember everything, rather than my brain forgetting things because there isn't enough room.
In a few years, I'm very sure I can make another wish to boost my immortality, but it's fine.
In a few weeks, I won't need to eat or drink as much. My injuries will heal somewhat quicker. Plus, I have a few years before Babidi or Beerus turns up, so my immortality would be at an acceptable level.
I start flying over to my lab while playing Super Saiyan 2 to get acclimated to it, and then
I can feel it. Super Saiyan forms deplete my stamina and ki, but because to my own training, I can feel it.
As an example, it's like I have 1 million ki points and I'm spending 20 per second, and I can feel my new immortality going to work because when I feel I'm losing some ki, part of it gets restored, not much, approximately 0.0001 of a ki point. I probably wouldn't even know that my immortality was helping me out if I hadn't inserted the bit about understanding what my immortality was doing. I wouldn't know what it is doing. I arrived in my lab. I decreased my strength as much as possible, but at this time, I am certain that the others are aware of my level of power. I go up to the PC that is showing Android 21. I grimace when looking at her power level.
914,140,491,052. She is more stronger than I am. In around 9 years, she will emerge out of the pod she is in.
Thanks to my computer, which has predicted that she would come out with a power level of the high quadrillions. Which is utter fucking nonsense. Seriously, how did Gero manage to combine such a wonderful balance of DNA and add it to his previous spouse?
What the real fuck guy? Given what he intended to do to me, I am certain that he would have been much stronger. I groan as I read Gero's notes on all he created that 21 can achieve. She is practically a Majin. She had Frieza's DNA, Z fighters, and to top it all off, Gero made sure that she could transform into her version of Great Ape.
I am also sure she has her own version of Super Saiyan.
Fucking hell. I asked the computer to reduce her Majin side and add a little more human DNA. If everything else fails, I'm wishing the evil away from her and leaving the Majin side in her own hands.
She is honestly one of the most powerful creatures in Universe 7 now. I can only imagine if she were to train her, God forbid, have her potential awakened.
I squint as I feel something rising in my trousers, and it's not the shield hero.
Oh right, Saiyan, I respond, knowing that my Saiyan half wants to fight her and fuck her at the same time.
21 is a hot piece of ass, and I'm not just saying that because of my hormones, it's the reality.
However, I am not a horndog, particularly with my views on Bulma. I shake my head, ignoring my raging hard-on and thinking about tomorrow.
Trunks are coming tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day when I will travel to the hyperbolic time chamber with him and teach him all I can, following which I will go after Cell and obliterate him from existence.
I'm only going to train Trunks for a year and a half, and the other half I'm going to save for myself so I can bypass Super Saiyan 3 and go for 4. After getting rid of Cell, I'm going back to Trunks' time and collecting 17 and 18 and making them into my servants before returning here and roaming the cosmos for a few years.
I nod to myself as I go to bed, still in Super Saiyan 2. Naruto's POV. I fly over to where I can detect Trunks' energy. I sighed at this. According to Goku and Vegeta's recollections, he is scarcely any stronger than when he destroyed Mecha Frieza and his father.
But it's okay because by the time we exit the hyperbolic time chamber, we'll be much stronger than before. I pad my pockets for several capsules. One of them is loaded with modified Blutz tablets, allowing Trunks to perhaps attain Super Saiyan 4 without a tail. Trunks is born with a tail. However, Bulma, recognizing the risk, had it surgically removed from Trunks, and I can only assume that Chi-Chi similarly had it removed from Goten. Vegeta, on the other hand, demonstrates that once someone transforms into a Super Saiyan 4, they do not need a tail to return to that form.
I hope. I fly down as soon as I reach Trunks and move closer to him. Who are you? He asks curiously, his guard up. I am Naruto. I begin to express and explain who I am.
As I finish, he adds, this is confusing, and I giggle a little. I can sense the others coming, and I sigh slightly before I make him my offer. Trunks, there is a site up in Kami's Lookout where we can receive a year's worth of training in a day, and we can remain there for 2 days, which equals 2 years, and I'd want you to join me to train. I can see you haven't had sufficient training. Don't think it will be simple, but by the time we are done, you will be ready to cope with the androids. However, if you want, I can go back with you to your time and get rid of them personally. I explain him my offer.
Don't be concerned about the androids here. I've already dealt with them in this timeline. I tell him as the others approach.
You are here, and I am sure he already told you about the androids, adds Tien, who arrives first since he is the closest to us. Yes, he did, answers Trunks, gazing at me strangely as he realizes I am effectively Vegeta and Goku in one person.
Soon the others come. I concentrate my senses and attempt to zero in on Vegeta's energies to see whether he is returning, resisting the impulse to grimace. He is on the opposite side of the cosmos and looks to be a Super Saiyan. I shake my head slightly, feeling Goku's energy. It goes back and forth, but he's concealing the best he can. I approach towards him, and he begins to question me, but I stop him and utilize instant transmission to return us to his house.
Why did you? I hit the moron in the head. Take your medicine, idiot, I reply via instant transmission, but just before I return, I hear him remark he forgot.
Idiot, I reply as I return to the others. He forgot to take his medicine, I quickly explain.
Oh, I knew I forgot something, said Gohan. We converse for a while, and because the androids have been dealt with in this timeline, there is no need for Trunks to remain any longer. However, he brings up the offer I made him, which the others are astonished to discover about the time chamber but are otherwise okay with since I am going to teach Trunks for 2 years.
Trunks ultimately agrees, but I can see he's apprehensive. I instruct him to hang on to my shoulder while I use the instant transmission to transport us over to the lookout, where I inform Kami that Trunks and I are headed to the time chamber.
We soon enter it, and even though I've seen and experienced it before via Goku's memories, the empty vacuum in front of Trunks still overwhelms me. Trunks, I am going to teach you. Time skip, 3 months of the 2 years spent in the time chamber. Now you know what you need to continue to grow even stronger, I tell Trunks as we both transform into Super Saiyan 2 forms.
3 months to teach Trunks numerous diverse skills like his Kaiken, the Spirit Bomb, and even how to correctly shape key methods. I also taught him some spirit control, which obviously includes rapid transfer. He reached Super Saiyan 2 a month ago and has remained in the form regularly.
The next thing for him to accomplish is to become a great ape and master it till he bypasses Super Saiyan 3 and goes into Super Saiyan 4, so that I may strive to attain my own Super Saiyan 4. Time skip, 5 months of the 2 years in the chamber. You did it, Trunks, I tell him as he is in his Uzaru form, which has a strange red lavender tint and he is now able to manage it.
Now, how do you feel? I ask him. I feel good, as if I am stretching my body for the first time in a really long time, he adds, snarling. Huh, I remark, taking it in and thinking about it some more. Makes sense. I encourage Trunks to try out any movements. He suddenly opens his mouth and spits forth fire.
Skip the 6th month of the 2-year chamber stay. I shout out as I complete transforming into a Super Saiyan 3 for the first time.
I narrowly evaded an assault from Trunks, who is presently in Golden Great Ape and rampaging throughout the time chamber.
Trunks, you have to fight it, I managed to say as I used the solar flare on him in an effort to give myself a few seconds to chop off his tail. As I approach his tail, it rapidly glides out of my sight and smacks me to the ground.
I scream in anguish because I can feel my back breaking in many places.
My immortality is fighting to keep up with the bombardment.
I placed my fingertips on my forehead as Trunks' palm clamped around me. I scream in anguish as he starts to squeeze me. Using immediate transmission to teleport behind him, I swiftly tried to chop off his tail. I throw it toward his tail, but he merely shifts it when it comes near it.
Soon, a weight crashes into me, and it takes me a minute to understand that Trunks just hit me before I am sent flying further within the time chamber, a trail of blood flowing from my lips. Slamming into the earth as gravity becomes stronger and heavier as I feel the air growing hotter and the ground feeling colder. Standing up painfully and exerting all of my resolve to stay in Super Saiyan 3 just so I can live a little longer.
Trunks, remember what you are doing this for. I shout out as I see a golden blur in front of me and kick me like a soccer ball, but I don't go far away as he grabs me.
This time, with both hands, he starts to squeeze me. Screaming in anguish, I shout out my final resort. Kaioken times. I scream, halting myself as I feel my bones snap. Trunks, I say as my head tilts back, and I am forced to look up into the nothingness as he fractures my spine, and eventually the rest of my body.
Don't let it control you, I whisper, as I feel his agonizing hold on me lessen. My golden aura melts away as I tumble down, and I catch glimpses of Trunks' golden great ape starting to shrivel down.
I saw a reddish lavender fur-covered arm grabbing me in the air before I fell to the earth.
Time skips 6 months and 3 weeks of the 2 years in the time chamber.
I gasp in anguish. As I wake up, my whole body aches. I attempt to rise, but a voice stops me. Don't move too much, said Trunks.
What? I start coughing as my chest pains. Careful. Give me the yellow Blutz pill. They help recover quicker. I manage to gasp out, and suddenly Trunks is holding one in his hand. I grunt, as I can feel it gradually helping my body recover. You did it, I reply, giggling lightly and cringing in pain.
Trunks took 6 months to attain Super Saiyan 4. Complete fucking nonsense. However, we already know how to go Super Saiyan, and I showed him how to reach Super Saiyan 2, and he was able to bypass 3 and reach 4. I
achieved 3 in order to live against him as Golden Great Ape, but I am certain that I would have perished if I hadn't reached 3. Because of my desire to know everything about how my immortality improves. I discovered that it is now enhancing my energy, stamina regeneration in order to compensate for Super Saiyan 3 because holy shit, I had some concept of exactly how much ki is required to reach that form and how much is needed to sustain it. I scarcely utilized any ki strikes, which was more than enough to wear me out. Never mind that I attempted to employ the Kaioken. I grimace somewhat as I hear several pops about my body when it heals. You should rest, Trunks, I will be fine, I assure him, seeing the bags under his eyes. Trunks, you have attained Super Saiyan 4. A huge milestone in power. Now you only need to master everything else I have taught you in order to protect your home. Rest, I tell him as I look him in the eyes. He sighs about a minute later. Alright, he replies as he goes over to a bed on the opposite side of the room and lies down. My scowl deepens as I recollect much of what we've been going through, or rather how he feels about me. He feels like I'm his father, and in a way, I very much am. I don't mind accepting that position, but there is still the fact that I consider myself fairly young. Even if I had Goku and Vegeta's memories, it is something that I haven't really thought about much, especially after I became immortal. I would begin a relationship with Bulma if I chose to pursue her, and because to Vegeta's memories, I know a little more about Bulma than I really should. The question is, because I am eternal, would Bulma be ready to become immortal merely to remain with me, knowing that her kid may grow old and die one day? I do not know. I want to explore this cosmos and beyond, which is why I became eternal after all. But I also want to feel love, and I want to appreciate life. I sigh as I thought some more about it and come to a halt as I simply shrug my fears away. Fuck it, I'm going to attempt to get close to the Bulma of this timeline, and if it works out, it works out. If not, I'll go on and keep moving ahead. I will not be a little bitch about it. If I want to enter into a relationship, I need to venture outside of my comfort zone.
I shake my head to return to Super Saiyan 4. What precisely is it? Is it the might of Uzaru and Super Saiyan combined?
If so, how strong is it exactly? Obviously more stronger than Super Saiyan 3. When SS3 GT Goku battled baby Vegeta, he was destroyed very easy owing to a variety of causes. First, Goku was transformed back into a child, and his body was incapable of handling Super Saiyan 3 even with the tail.
What a lot of people don't really remember is that baby Vegeta was in his own form of Super Saiyan 3 and he was able to manage it a lot better than Goku, but I am quite sure adult GT Goku had already mastered Super Saiyan 3, so they probably would have been around even.
Super Saiyan 4's powers are astounding, to say the least.
It allows the Saiyan using it to have much greater control over their ki. Their Zenkai is improved to the point that they obtain a level of adaptation as the same attack won't affect them either as much or at all. Their senses are increased massively to the point that they don't even need to see their opponent, though they can use ki sense to find said opponent, but their senses are still improved. They also appear to gain the ability to outright absorb ki and or re.
That's all I know about the form. I am going to wait a little longer before I attempt to acquire it. I accomplished Super Saiyan 3, and I should at least become skilled at it till I feel comfortable in that state before moving on to 4. I grin at it. When confronted with someone stronger than them, a Saiyan gains strength. Trunks in Super Saiyan 4 will be a fantastic training buddy.
Time skip 1 of the 2 years inside the time chamber.
I shout as I kick Trunks, who easily dodges out of the way. I am now in my Super Saiyan 3 state, while he is in his Super Saiyan 4 form.
I am still stronger than him in our base forms, but in Super Saiyan 4, he is still much too powerful for me. Never mind that I received a gigantic Zenkai after I recovered from having almost my whole body smashed.
He smacks me in the chest, sending me flying back far away.
I stop myself, but I know he's already behind me. I smash him in the face with my elbow, but he doesn't even flinch.
He hits me in the back, sending me flying, but then he appears above me and kicks me to the ground. I smash into the ground in anguish as I return to base.
Good fight, I breathe, in anguish. It had already been a year since I received my immortality, and we entered the room. Trunks may now become Super Saiyan 4 at will. We found that Blutz waves help make the transition simpler, same situation with the Blutz pills owing to me being able to build the power ball. It is not essential once a Saiyan has experienced it, they can enter it at whim, although it does take a lot of attention to do so. I stood up in discomfort. How do you feel? Asks Trunks to revert to his basic form.
Yup, I am alright, I respond as I begin to mend. So tomorrow is the day, huh, he says. Yeah, I respond. Tomorrow is the day I start aiming to become Super Saiyan 4. Naruto's POV time skip 1 year and 1 day of 2 years before training concludes. I shout with a roar, forcing my golden great ape form to obey me. I use all of my willpower to make it listen to me. I scream again as I begin to shrink, and I am uncomfortable throughout it all. I feel my bones becoming smaller as they compress together. I can feel my muscles separating from my bones before they are reattached.
I scream with agony and hatred. An explosion of strength occurs as I finally begin to calm down, although some rage remains. I open my eyes and witness Trunks in his Super Saiyan 4 form. No words are said as we race towards the other. Our fists smash in an impressive exhibition of force. I deliver a kick to his face, which he manages to avoid and react by sending a punch to my chest, which I block and send a blast at him, sending him flying away. Incredible, I exclaim as I easily block and avoid Trunks' strikes. We're not fighting seriously, Trunks is simply helping me try this new form out. The power is incredible. I know that I got Super Saiyan 4 in less than 2 years, and I already knew about the transformations. I had Super Saiyan from the start and mastered it effortlessly since I understood what was required for me to do so. I can claim that I have mastered Super Saiyan 2, but Super Saiyan 3 still requires a lot of effort. Super Saiyan 4, it's just wonderful. My senses are over the sky. I'm not even focused on anything right now. Closing my eyes. Wow, I feel like I haven't even closed my eyes. I breathe in and out.
I simply disregard the rage that is prevalent in my head and tighten my fists. Power incarnate. That is how I feel. I screamed with my arms at my sides, letting go of my grip on my power and allowing it to run wild. As I scream, the familiar golden light intensifies around me. I eventually cool down from the power high. Incredible, I say.
I am stronger than Trunks in his own Super Saiyan 4, but this is only because I have a far greater foundation than his. I glance down at my body and see that I'm wearing black GI pants and white Saiyan-style boots. I have no gloves. So, we train? Asks Trunks. Yes, I reply, running towards him as we collide once more.
1 year and 6 months in the 2-year time chamber.
I let out a weary sigh as I plummeted out of Super Saiyan 4. When I hit it, I collapsed to the ground and rested on my back. Naruto resolved to ask Piccolo to teach him his clothes beam and materialization thing when he gets out of here. HW reflected as he realized that most of the clothing he had worn up to this point was now rags.
Naruto's Pavai gaze at Trunks, who is now asleep and in his basic form. We're both lot stronger. Super Saiyan 4 is great.
But with such greatness, there comes a little downside. Sometimes I forget to drop out of it. Okay, there isn't much of a problem, but still. Trunks and I pushed each other to the limit. I am still stronger, albeit not by much. One method that I invented after we both had a full grip of Super Saiyan 4 was battling one another when one is in Super Saiyan and the other in a lesser state in order to grow stronger.
At one time, I was able to combat Trunks in his Super Saiyan 4 state with just my Super Saiyan 2 form.
I've been pushing both of us much too much. My immortality eventually yielded a lot of consequences.
First of all, Super Saiyan 3 is much more controllable than previously. I can remain in it as if I were in Super Saiyan 1 when I initially change. My immortality is catching up with the enormous quantity of ki used to activate and sustain it. Is it a pain in the ass? Self-evolving immortality is great, but fucking frustrating. In Super Saiyan 3, my body is kind of able to keep up with the massive intake of ki that it consumes, so I'm thinking of making it my go-to Super Saiyan form.
However, it does not work in the same way for the other kinds. Super Saiyan 1 makes sense since I can practically change into it without blinking and sleep with it. Super Saiyan 2 is a bit of a problem since I keep shredding the bed sheets.
Super Saiyan 3 is a new ballgame altogether, and I am pretty grateful for my want to make me aware of various features of the S cells. I'm overclocking them in Super Saiyan 3. According to my understanding, Super Saiyan transformations are the rates at which an individual's S cells become active.
This might explain Gohan's explosive strength, even at such an early age. Not totally, but certain elements of it at least. I have ideas about it, but all I have to go with is the knowledge that my immortality provided me regarding Super Saiyan 3.
If I attempted to push the transition any farther, part of my body would have burst. Super Saiyan 3 is the maximal output of the S cells, to my knowledge. Maybe things change when I become Super Saiyan 4. I will find out more later since I am really fascinated about it.
Maybe Bulma is willing to investigate the Saiyan forms. I shake my head as I rise up. I fly over to the entrance of the time chamber and take some food out.
Another perk of my desire is that I don't have to eat as much anymore, and eventually won't have to at all. Thank you, Shenron. I did come up with a few moves. I was able to build the key sword that the original Vegito used against Buin.
I went one step further by employing my understanding of the spirit bomb to boost its strength, turning the hue from yellow to blue.
I've been working on it a lot. To be honest, that is an avenue that I am pursuing.
I can already execute the final Kamehameha, its X10 variant, and the spirit version that I designed, which is what I'm thinking about making my trademark move. I basically accumulate energy to construct a spirit bomb and then begin to make a final Kamehameha X10. I then insert the spirit bomb energy between the moves for final flash and Kamehameha, and bam! Final spirit Kamehameha X10. However, the disadvantage of the spirit energy that I give to it doesn't actually do much to improve its potency against somebody like Trunks, as if he was merely struck by a standard final Kamehameha X10. Which is okay. I'm creating attacks against certain foes like Frieza and Moro. I had an idea to employ the reverse of what King Kai taught Goku for the spirit bomb, and something that baby Vegeta used. The Revenge Death Ball follows some of the basics of producing a conventional spirit bomb, but instead of asking for energy, I must take it violently.
But it's not necessary. In fact, I can gather some of the energy released by someone who is evil when they launch ki blasts. and once the ki disperses nearby from the blasts, I can gather the energy plus the energy leaked by my opponent's aura, essentially taking over the battlefield, as this evil spirit bomb variant is capable of harming those who are good or evil. I'll store it for later. Since Trunks and I have a strong handle on our shapes, it's time to start working on something new.
Ki control. It is vital to become stronger and get acclimated to our new level of ability, but it is so darn tedious since it's so repetitious getting the hang of it. I am wanting to get the tremendous degree of ki control in my base that I had in Super Saiyan 4, which is quite plainly unfair to anybody else, and I really enjoy it.
The degree of ki control that I have in Super Saiyan 4 is just phenomenal.
I can create ki blasts in the form of arbitrary objects. I discovered out when I led my juvenile side to take control. Making ki blasts in the form of a troll face will always be one of my best accomplishments. I can't exactly do the same in my base, but I'll try anyhow.
Trunks and I will work on skills and ki control over the next several months. At this moment, we are satisfied with our modifications.
I told Trunks to test if he could become Super Saiyan 3, but he would rather simply skip it totally. I will respect his decision since I know the power it delivers is huge, but absolutely not worth the expense of stamina, concentration, and the sheer quantity of ki utilized by it, which are just a few reasons why it isn't worth it. 2 years have passed since the time chamber's end. It's alright, you did your best, I assure him, patting him on the back as he finishes telling me about the androids, conduct in his time period, and any hesitancy about what I'm about to do to them is gone.
Trunks battled with them a lot, and the only reason he's still alive is because they played with him.
He just told me about one occasion when he was heading to a bunker with survivors bringing supplies, and when he was too late, the androids were already there, and he watched them slaughtering children in a terrible way. 17 held 2 youngsters and pulled off their spines, while 18 shocked a bunch of them until they were burnt. All the while, forcing adults to watch while they laugh and murder the youngsters. Trunks raced in to do anything. But it wasn't enough. It never was. But now it's different. I'm going to make the androids regret their existence.
If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit that like button and smash that subscribe for more amazing videos, and of course, drop a comment down below to let me know your thoughts.